Monday, March 26. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The Cabinet will today discuss the March 16 ruling of the Appeal Court that Indicom does not have the power to arrest and prosecute cops. Previously, Indicom had claimed such powers, citing Section 20 of the Indicom Act. However, the recent judgment said, based on Section 20 of the Act, that Indicom Commissioner Terrence Williams and his investigators only had power to investigate and make recommendations. In response, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said in a recent Gleaner interview that a parliamentary committee would be set up to review the Indicom law, and as such, he did not want to preempt any decision by that committee. A joint select committee had reviewed the Indicom Act and submitted its report to Parliament in 2015. However, to date, the report has not been debated. The island's murder rate has slowed. This is according to the latest crime statistics, and they're indicating that the spiral in the country's murder rate has eased, with homicides now at 2.8% above last year. The latest Jamaica Constabulary Force figures shows that 327 persons were killed between January 1 and March 24, compared to 318 over the same period last year. This shows a significant slowdown in the murder rate, whose percentage rate of increase averaged between the high teens and low 20s during the first 2 months of the year. In addition, with the exception of larceny and robbery, all categories of serious crimes have decreased over the period. In a push to improve and cut the waiting time at its drug-serve pharmacy, the National Health Fund, NHF, will shortly be rolling out a prescription submission application called the NHF Quick Prescript. Chief Executive Officer at the NHF, Everton Anderson, says that Quick Prescript app is one of the newest and most innovative strategies being implemented by the agency to bring about improvements in service delivery at drug-serve pharmacies. There are approximately 2.7 million outpatient visits through primary and secondary care public health facilities in Jamaica, with an estimated 2.2 million prescriptions resulting from these visits. Public sector pharmacies are being rebranded as drug-serve pharmacies, and the NHF is moving to make improvements to the system to serve the volume of prescriptions arising from outpatient visits. The NHF is hoping to have the initiative fully rolled out within a month. The government is reviewing its financing of tertiary education. This confirmation from State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Floyd Green. Green is reported as saying, "We are aligning our financing to the areas that are important. Agriculture is one of those areas to be a big beneficiary of our direction in relation to tertiary policy." End quote. He was delivering the keynote address at College Day and Expo held at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, in Portland last week. Hundreds came out to support the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, which took place in the Blue Mountain Range on historic grounds in Newcastle over the weekend. The festival is part of the initiatives to foster the strategic growth of culinary tourism in Jamaica. We caught up with Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett, who was excited about the prospects of expanding avenues of coffee commercialization.
Coffee Festival then is to excite the mind to the various applications that are possible for coffee that will bring economic value to Jamaica and enrichment to our people.
Minister Bartlett noted other applications such as coffee essences for perfumes, candles and soap.
But there's a greater value to it. There's all of these wonderful cultural essence that flow from coffee. A number of applications that we can make from coffee. We can have coffee flour, and coffee flour is the healthy flour without gluten, and it can make your cookies and make your cakes and coffee dumpling, we never thought of that, yes.
The minister also noted that coffee is a passion point for tourism, as it can be listed as a reason for travel.
If the second most consumed liquid on earth is coffee, then coffee will have a following. coffee. You have coffee aficionados, you have coffee technicians and coffee theoreticians, people who study coffee, because it is part of the great variety of cuisines that make up the culinary delights of the world today. So here is an opportunity to bring all those people to Jamaica.
The three-day event showcased the rich tradition of coffee production in the Blue Mountain region and featured Blue Mountain coffee, coffee-related products, food stalls, tastings, demonstrations, and workshops.
Are you ready?
Jailed reggae crooner Buju Banton will do his first concert upon release from prison in Trinidad and Tobago. So says Jodiani Banks, a member of the singer's marketing team, at a media briefing held during the Love and Harmony cruise aboard Celebrity Summit vessel on Sunday. The concert will be held on April 22, 2019. The venue was not disclosed. She said a concert is scheduled for Jamaica at a later date. She said, quote, Trinidad was chosen as the dates, travel schedules, and other variables all came together for that time of the year and was the best fit, end quote. According to the Jamaica Observer, some of the acts Buju Banton wanted to perform at the Jamaican concert were not available. So that is the reason why the organizers decided to do Trinidad's show first. Banks said the reggae singer is looking forward to his release and the opportunity to make music for his fans. Banton, whose given name is Mark Myrie, is currently completing a 9-year sentence at the McRae Correctional Facility in Georgia for a 2009 drug conviction. He is scheduled to be released on Saturday, December 8, 2018. In regional news, the Board of Directors of the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, has approved US $750,000 for funding for a program that will assist the Caribbean community, CARICOM, with strengthening intra-regional trade. At least 5 countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Guyana, St. Lucia, and Suriname, will benefit from these interventions to be implemented by the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality. Daniel Best, Director of Projects at the CDB, said, quote, this program will assist producers with overcoming some of the challenges encountered when trying to export their products and will therefore enhance their ability to increase market access, penetrate new markets, and integrate into global value chains, end quote. The CDB-funded interventions will assist with bringing regional goods in line with international standards. In sports, we start with cricket, as favourites West Indies failed in their bid to put the finishing touches on an otherwise successful campaign, as nemesis Afghanistan trounced them by 7 wickets yesterday to lift the ICC World Cup Qualifiers trophy. Hoping for revenge in the final at Horer Sports Club after 2 losses in the competition to the Asian side, West Indies never mounted a serious challenge, dismissed for 204, and then watching as Afghanistan strolled to their target with nearly 10 overs remaining. And over to football, Jamaica's senior reggae boys produced a less than stellar performance on their return home as they were held to a 1-1 score line by Antigua and Barbuda in their international friendly contest at Sabina Park on Sunday. It was by no means a polished performance from the boys, who were playing their first game at home since 2016, as they failed to make the most of their dominant possession. The contest was used as preparation for both teams ahead of the CONCACAF Nations League qualifiers in September. And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start, as usual, with our local currents. In Kingston this afternoon, we're expecting temperatures between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius. We're expecting sunny skies across areas. We're also seeing a 22 degrees Celsius forecast for the temperature this evening. Let's take a look at what's happening in the western end of the island. We're looking at Montego Bay. There's a possibility of rainfall today for Montego Bay, St. James. We're also seeing warm temperatures between 22 and 27 degrees Celsius throughout the day, but that's set to go down to a low 6 degrees Celsius this evening for certain areas in St. James. Let's take a look at what we can expect across the island. We're expecting temperatures between 27 and 31 degrees Celsius today. We're also expecting a possibility of rain throughout most parishes. In our forecast for tomorrow, we're expecting cloudy conditions in certain areas, and we're also seeing a forecast of rainfall for Ocho-Rios and over there in Port Antonio, Portland as well. Cloudy conditions are forecast for Golden Grove, St. Thomas. We're seeing sunny skies for Negril. In our Caribbean forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing temperatures between 23 and 34 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing rainfall forecast tomorrow for the eastern end of the Caribbean, but it should be predominantly sunny for the western countries. And further afield, we look to the United States. Sunny skies forecast for Los Angeles with the temperatures between 12 and 20 degrees Celsius. We're seeing a high 24 degrees Celsius forecast for Miami, but they could be having some rainfall. We're looking at cloudy conditions for New York. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.